Alright, hi guys, welcome back to PKFX YouTube trading channel. So this will be our usual weekend game plan. Technically today is not weekend, it's already Monday night for me, so the market is pretty much open. I just came back from a long vacation. Technically it's about 2 weeks. I did not do any game plan for the past 2 weeks. So now that I'm already back at my particular office setup, I'm gonna resume back the usual trading process. So I've analyzed a few currency pairs that I'm interested in. In fact, during my short vacation, during holidays, I did open up one or two trades, which is pretty much one of the trades I'm still holding right now. So regardless, I'll just walk through what are the pairs that I'm interested in to look at for this upcoming few days. And to start off with, let's quickly look through it. AUDCHF. So AUDCHF on a weekly time frame, pretty much we have a bullish market. So this is the higher high and this is the higher low, as you can see marked over here with the weekly trend lines. And if I go to before I go to the daily, I just want to highlight this important point over here. So the weekly have been struggling a lot to break above this area of interest over here, this box that I've drawn over here. I see that a few weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, for the past 2 months, it's pretty much where it has been. In fact, when it first came over here, I was expecting the market to reverse back down, and it did that, but unfortunately it came back up, and I actually got wicked out on this particular trade. I entered back another trade which is currently ongoing as well, but the market seemed to be not making any significant move to the downside. So this is keeping me questioning whether do I continue to hold this particular trade, which I've already committed to, or do I just close and call it a break even? Right now, my decision is to continue to hold this particular trade. Why? Is because I see that it is struggling to break above, so the probability for it to have a bigger flush to the downside, at least to the part of this previous structure point, is more likely compared to for it to go upwards. Obviously, I can get another week out as well. It has done this several times. You can see very strong weeks towards the upside, right? If I look at the daily price action, daily is a sell. This is the lower low and this is the lower high. So daily is technically a sell with a small pullback, and I'm expecting the daily to continue the downward trend. I do understand the daily EME is growing up towards me, and it did hold over here, right? This was the previous trade that I took that pretty much got wicked out over here. And then the market reversed back again, which caused me to enter back again because the confluences indicated that it is still a good sell. And I can see overall it is slowly making a good head and shoulders and a retest neckline kind of pattern, which is in my favor as well for it to dump downwards. And if I look at the 4-hour time frame, right now it is bullish. However, I entered the trade over here, and I have continued to hold this trade for the past few days, right? So the market is technically still ranging. It was dumping downwards here, which caught my interest, and when I entered, it did go down, but right now the market had a pullback, and I'm still holding on because the daily is a sell. Though the weekly is a buy, this is technically a counter trend trade. My hope, if I zoom out for this particular trade on the weekly, it's for it to dump all the way down. In fact, I'm taking profit over here, but I'm hoping that it comes all the way down here because the EMA is right down here, right? So I'm hoping that the weekly will have a stronger push, hopefully this week, if not probably next week. But yeah, this is one particular trade that I'm currently in, that I would say currently still in some sort of a break-even kind of area. So that is AUDCHF. Now moving on to the next pair, which is USDCAD. Now USDCAD, if I were to zoom in, the weekly is a buy. This is the higher high and this is the higher low. And if I go to the daily, also it is a strong buy, this marking over here as the higher high and this as the higher low. So the weekly is a buy, the daily is a buy, and the 4-hour is also buy. This is the higher high, this is the higher low. And when the market opened, I was expecting the market to make a push towards the downside, retest this particular round psychological number of 1.39500, and then also have this 4-hour EMA that is growing upwards to hold as a support as well, and then to continue push upwards. So I entered this particular trade. So currently I'm holding two trades, right? AUDCHF and USDCAD. So I entered this particular trade. It's in a very small profit, but my expectation is for the market to continue its uptrend in the upcoming days, following the direction of the weekly and the daily and the 4-hour. So that's USDCAD. It's a buy. Moving on, some of the other pairs that I'm interested in, it will be USDCHF. Now, USDCHF, as I zoom in for this particular pair, I see that the weekly was a sell. This is the lower low and this is the lower high. And the market came all the way up here and then got pushed back again, came back all the way up here, and you can see that the EMA has been growing downwards, and the market literally made a doji kind of structure over here, right? So had a strong engulfing bullish candle followed by a doji candle that is right below the weekly EMA, which is very strong, followed by, if I zoom in, you can see the round psychological number of 80,000, 0.80,000 over here. So this acted as a very strong resistance, and the market is now reversing. So I see similar pattern played out previously over here, and that is exactly what I'm expecting the market to do as well. Hopefully this week has a strong push towards the downside. Weekly is a sell. Daily right now is a buy, right? This is the higher high and this is the higher low, and the market is right over here. So I'm expecting some sort of a break below here, right? If I go to the 4-hour, technically the 4-hour did break below this particular area. Let me just correct this. So it should be somewhere here. Now this is the new lower low and this is the lower high. So technically 4-hour is also a sell. The market had a strong push upwards. Right now, actually it's not bad. This will be a good entry point. I'm looking for a sell, right? The market already broke below the area that I'm interested in and came back and retest. Now I'm just looking at the smaller time frame. If there's any sort of opportunity for me to enter this trade, if there's any sort of shift of structure, for the 30 minutes candlestick, the shift of structure can only happen down here. So by that time, I'd probably miss the trade. If I look at the 1-hour candlestick as well, it's still down here. And the 2-hour candlestick, the shift of structure has to happen down here. So technically, I can't decide to enter right now. I'll probably look at tomorrow if there's potential opportunity to enter this particular trade. But yeah, I can clearly see a solid move towards the downside, a correction happening here, another move to the downside. So right now, I need the market to buffer somewhere around here, and hopefully it breaks below, having this 4-hour EMA acting as a resistance. And if it does that, then I'd be more confident that if I go to the higher time frame, right, on the weekly, that the market gonna eventually give me the similar curvature pattern that you see time and time again happening like this, right? Happening like this, and for the third time, hopefully it will happen the same way, right? So yeah, USDCHF, I'm looking for a potential sell for this particular week. Now, following up with the next particular pair will be AUDJPY. Now, for AUDJPY, so AUDJPY on the weekly, right? The weekly is technically a sell. Let me just zoom in so that it is more clear over here. So the weekly technically is a sell, but this week it has been making a strong push towards the upside. Once again, we have a sell candle followed by a doji holding this particular area of interest as a potential support, and this week it is pumping towards the upside. So obviously it's going to be a counter trend trade if I'm interested to buy AUDJPY, right? If I look at the daily technically is still a sell as well, and this is the lower low and this is the lower high. So as you can see over here, right, lower low and lower high. So daily is a sell, weekly is a sell. 4-hour, however, I believe has already shifted. Yes, already shifted into a buy. Now I need some sort of a pullback before I can get a good 1 to 2 risk to reward. I don't want to go ahead and buy over here. So any sort of pullback, I'd be interested, but I have to understand that during that pullback, even the 4-hour turns into a sell, right? So I'll be completely a counter trend trade for this particular trade for AUDJPY. If I want to buy, the weekly is a sell, the daily is a sell, the 4-hour at the point of time, if it comes back over here, will also be a sell, but I'm buying, right? So that's counter trend trade, highly risky. The only reason I'm buying is because it broke above my area of interest and coming back to retest the round psychological number of 113 as a support, right? And hopefully the 4-hour EMA to act as a support as well to continue its trend towards the upside, right? So that is AUDJPY. Now moving on to the next pair, which is GBPAUD. Now, GBPAUD, if I look at the weekly, this is a sell, right? So this is the lower low and this is the lower high. So weekly trend is a sell, daily is a buy. This is the higher high and this is the higher low, and it has clearly on a daily candle clearly broken above, right? This zone that I'm interested in, came back with a strong pullback, right? And now what I'm expecting is for this area to act as a support, I need either today or tomorrow, most probably tomorrow, for it to push towards the upside again, right? If this candle closes like this and tomorrow the candle opens and started going back up, now the daily is a buy, even though the 4-hour right now is a sell. If I see the lower time frame shifting and a break above this particular zone will indicate that, hey, this area from above came back down, tested and reconfirmed, and now pushing towards the upside. So this particular trade, GBPAUD, if I were to buy, this will be technically a counter trend trade because the weekly is sell, but I'd be going with the daily candlestick to a buy, right? So that is GBPAUD. I'm interested for a buy. And let me move on to the next pair, which is EURAUD. Now, EURAUD, let me just adjust this. So the weekly, if I were to zoom in, right, the weekly is technically a sell. This being the lower low and this being the lower high. So weekly is a sell, clear sell, right? Daily, however, I believe is a buy, right? If I were to zoom in over here, you can clearly see that the daily is a buy. This is the higher high, this is the higher low, right? And then the 4-hour right now is technically a sell. Yes, the 4-hour is a sell. I can see that it did break above, but then it broke below again, retest, broke below again, came back again, and now it had a strong push towards the downside. Now, the 4-hour EMA has been acting as a support over here right now. If I see a clear breakdown, then it would be great, but by that time, I would have missed the trade already. I need to make sure that the stop loss area is above this particular area. I don't know if the market will come back up again to give me another opportunity to sell, but if it does, then I'll look for the lower time frame to shift into a sell in order for me to sell this particular trade. And selling this trade will be a pro-trend trade because the weekly is a sell. So if the weekly is a sell, then it is with the trend, right? So that is what I'm looking at for EURAUD. I don't know, most probably I already missed this trade, but any sort of pullback, I'd be more than happy to look into a potential opportunity to sell. Now, moving on to NZDCAD. If I go to the weekly candlestick for the pair NZDCAD, let me just zoom in over here. So NZDCAD, this is a bit tricky, right? The candles have been making some strong push towards the upside, followed by a strong pullback to the downside, right? Strong push to the upside, followed by a strong pullback to the downside. So it just made a strong push to the upside. I'm expecting a strong pullback to the downside, but this time around, right, if I were to zoom in, you can see that I'm interested for it to come back over here where the round psychological number of 0.81,000 and the EMA on the weekly also coming in to act as a support, right? So if that happens, great, then I can buy, right? The weekly is a buy. The daily, however, also is a buy, but it's way up here already. And as you can see, this is the higher high and this is the higher low. And the market did make a significant pullback, broke above, and then now currently holding above this EMA as well. Any sort of pullback, I'll be more than happy to buy this trade towards the upside, right? Now, if I were to look at the 4-hour as well, so you already know the weekly is a buy, the daily is a buy, and even the 4-hour right now is a buy. But for me to enter the trade, I wanted the market to come all the way down here. So maybe it's too much to ask. By the time the market comes back down here, the 4-hour is obviously going to be a sell, right? So the moment the market comes back down here, the EMA most probably is going to act as a resistance as well, right? So I have to really evaluate if I'm going to go with the pro trend trade. I got to evaluate when the candle comes over here in the upcoming days, whether it is going to be a good buy or not, right? But typically NZDCAD, that is what I'm looking at. I'm looking for a potential opportunity to buy. Moving on to CADJPY, and this particular pair, right? This is also pretty risky. Why do I say that? Is because the weekly technically is a buy. This is the higher high, this is the higher low, and I'm trying to sell over here. Now, why? Is because if I look at the daily candlestick, right? The daily candlestick, ever since the candle broke above this particular area, the market has been struggling to make a really significant higher high and continue the trend upwards, right? So it feels like a bit toppy over here. So rather than buying, I rather try and sell if the market break below and holds below. So far, the daily has been a sell. If I zoom in, this is the lower low and this is the lower high. I'm hoping in the upcoming days, the market will break below and then retest from below. The daily is a sell. In fact, the 4-hour is also a sell. Currently, it's just ranging. I'm just monitoring. But what I wanted the market to do is eventually to break below clearly, close below clearly, and then come back and retest clearly and close again a few candles, 4-hour candlesticks like this. At that point of time, I'll be confident that the market is definitely going below this area of interest, and then I may consider the risky counter trend trade of selling JPY pair, right? So that is CADJPY. I'm looking into selling. NZDJPY, right? Same thing. The market, right? On a weekly, let me just show on the weekly, right? The market is technically a buy. It made the higher high over here. This is the higher low. But you can clearly see that the strong push of the buy candle got eaten back up again by an extremely strong engulfing sell candle that closed below this particular area, and the following week it just came back and retested and reconfirmed, and now this week it has opened below this particular area. So I'm expecting some sort of a sell at least until this weekly EMA climbs back up for it to go and dump downwards. Can it happen this week or next week? Probably. This is what I'm expecting it to do. So because the weekly is a buy and I'm trying to sell, it's a counter trend trade. The daily, however, right, looking at this is the lower low, this is the lower high. So the daily is obviously a sell, right? And the 4-hour right now is a buy. If it breaks below here, it will become a sell. I wanted the market to come back up and retest and break below, and that's exactly what the market has done, right? It has already broke below, it came back up, retest, and now it's breaking below. So I can look for a potential sell opportunity over here, NZDJPY. Hopefully, this particular daily EMA breaks as well. So I'll continue to monitor. Right now, I'm not confident yet to enter because if I zoom in on a daily candle, it was just a week, right? I was hoping for some sort of a daily candle closure above, not just the 4-hour candle closure above. But let's see how the market opens tomorrow after it closes today, and I'll continue to monitor. But NZDJPY potentially a sell. And finally, EURUSD. So for this particular pair, if I go to the weekly, well, technically it has been ranging, right? If I really zoom out, weekly it is literally just ranging over here, and meanwhile it was doing this. The weekly EMA grew all the way up here, and now it's acting some sort of a support right now. The weekly technically is a sell, this being the lower low, this being the lower high. So weekly is a sell. Daily is a buy, right? So this is the higher high over here, and this is the higher low. So it has not broken here. Technically, it has not broken. If I were to zoom in, like really zoom in for this particular candlestick over here, you can clearly see that this line was never really broken by this particular candle, right? So this is, I would say, one way of analyzing the market. But to do this, you gotta really zoom in, right? And you can see that I drew this line as the lower point, and the straight line was never really broken by this candle. If I really zoom in, right? So technically, this low point still holds, and this is technically market still ranging within that. It's inside bar price action, right? So technically, daily is still a buy, right? And if I go to the 4-hour candlestick, the 4-hour candlestick is also a buy, this being the new higher high over here, right? And this being the higher low. So technically still a buy. Now, the catch here is I'm interested to buy this particular trade, and for me to buy, I do not want to buy into resistance, right? I want to buy into support. So I need the market to show me its hand first. I need the market to break above this round psychological number of 1.16 thousand, break above this daily EME, and have some sort of a candle closure above this particular area of interest. And then any sort of pullback, I'd be interested to buy. And that's why I pretty much do the candle, sorry, the arrow like this, because this is technically what I want the market to do, right? I want the market to make some sort of a clear move on a 4-hour candlestick above, close above, come back below, retest, and then a push towards the upside will be my particular trade, which will be still a counter trend trade because the weekly is a sell, but at least the daily and the 4-hour will be aligned to a buy, right? So that's essentially the markets I'm looking at. Currently, AUDCHF, I'm holding. It is in a slight loss or a break even, I would say. I'm going to continue to hold this particular trade. USDCAD in a very small profit or break even as well. I just entered this trade a while ago, so I'm going to continue to hold this trade as well. But yes, guys, that's pretty much it. That's for this week, and hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck in your trades. Thank you, guys. Take care.